The Great Death of CNN.
Mr. Reagan.
The other day on Twitter, I scrolled past this ad. It's an ad promoting CNN's new digital streaming service called CNN Plus. Now, Fox News has a streaming service, as I'm sure you're all aware. It's called Fox Nation, and I don't know how profitable that project is, but I'm guessing it does okay. It seems like a bit of a risk, though, a premium subscription service that offers more Fox News. Fox is a 24-hour-a-day news service, plus they've got Fox Business News. I mean, you could literally watch Fox News all day twice. Making an additional service always seemed excessive to me. Like, you want people who have the option of watching Fox News all day and Fox Business News all day to take time away from those two networks to watch more Fox News. Just seems like too much content to me. That said, there are some good things on there. But in any case, it does seem to me like a little bit of a risk. But CNN Plus, that doesn't sound like a risk. That seems like a sure failure. But beyond the pure irrationality of this concept, I also noticed this.
Hey, I'm Anderson Cooper. Welcome to Parental Guidance, my new show about parenting, the joys of it, the highs, and even the lows of it. I'm no expert, certainly, but I do want to be the best parent I can possibly be, and I know all of you do as well. So I hope we can learn together on this program.
All right, we're going to talk about this in one moment. First, I have to sell you something. A newly discovered software flaw is possibly the most critical vulnerability of the last decade for anybody connected to the internet. This software vulnerability grants hackers, spies, and criminals easy access to customer data off countless enterprise-level websites. Security experts across the country are ringing the alarm, stating that everyone is at risk. But your privacy is in your own hands. And that's why I use Virtual Shield VPN every time I connect to the internet. Virtual Shield VPN helps protect my online data from hackers, data mining companies, my mobile carrier, my internet service provider, and even the alphabet agencies. The best part is that Virtual Shield is one of the very few VPNs with a strict no-log policy, meaning that they will not keep your search history stored on their servers. Now, I could not be more happy with the peace of mind that using a Virtual Shield VPN offers me. This month, I've partnered with the creators of Virtual Shield to give my audience 50% off for life and a free 30-day trial of Virtual Shield's VPN to celebrate the new year. Just go to virtualshield.com/Mr. Reagan or click on the link in the description below. All right, now, before I get into the Anderson Cooper thing, I have to interject something here. Right after I finished writing this script, just before shooting this video, I took a quick break and I checked Twitter. And today, literally moments after I finished the script, news broke from Axios that CNN Plus is failing big time. I mean, that is hilarious. But before we get into that, I do want to get back to my Nostradamus-like speculation here, and then we can, of course, talk a little bit about the Axios article. Okay, so Anderson Cooper has got a show on CNN Plus teaching parenting advice. Anderson Cooper is a single gay man. Now, he was in a relationship with a guy named Benjamin Maisani, and the two decided to have a kid together, and so Anderson Cooper hired a surrogate through whom he had this child. However, Anderson and Benjamin split up while the surrogate was pregnant with the kid. Now, I'm already not convinced that single gay men are the best people to be giving out marriage advice, but this situation isn't winning me over. On top of that, Anderson Cooper was raised by a single mother, Gloria Vanderbilt, who was married 4 times and maintained several other romantic relationships. I suppose CNN Plus having Anderson Cooper host a show about parenting advice, gives you some idea of their target audience, but I just don't think radical leftist moms who watch CNN and want parenting advice from a single middle-aged gay man is a huge percentage of the population. I just don't think that show is going to be drawing in huge audiences. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the show is about what not to do.
Vaccine's on the way, Zaddy. Let's do it. You're getting better. You're getting better at it. I would argue that you're getting better at it. Now, we got to talk about our top story tonight. Should we get to Baby Wyatt right now? Burns.
As I'm sure you guys already know, Chris Wallace, one of the most hated personalities on Fox News, moved to CNN just to work on a CNN Plus project. I mean, I imagine they must have paid him a small fortune to pull him away from Fox. I believe he was making a lot of money hosting Fox News Sunday. And so my point is that they're spending all of this money on this new Anderson Cooper show, on the new Chris Wallace show, and, I'm sure several other shows, because, they have to create enough content for a full streaming service. So I don't know. I just don't think this is going to be financially lucrative. This is not a winning strategy for CNN. Okay, so that was the original script that I wrote for this CNN Plus thing. Those were my initial thoughts. And then this Axios article dropped. So let's have a look at this Axios article, because honestly, this is the first time I've ever written a script in which I predicted something and then it came true as I was writing the script. That has never happened to me before. So anyway, that's crazy. Well, let's have a look at this article here. All right, here we go. Big cuts coming for CNN Plus after slow start. This is by Sarah Fisher at Axios. All right. It says, investment and projections for CNN Plus are expected to be cut dramatically in response to a low adoption rate, two sources told Axios. This is not a traditional article. They've really just got bullet points, so I'm just going to go through the bullet points here. The news giant was initially planning to invest around $1 billion in the service over the next 4 years. $1 billion. What did I say? I said they must be spending a small fortune. Gee, many Christmas. $1 billion for this. Just unbelievable. Hundreds of millions of dollars are expected to be cut from that original investment total. To date, around $300 million has been spent on the subscription service, which includes a sizable marketing investment. Yeah, $300 million. Yeah, that's already an insane amount of money, which I don't think that CNN can afford. The new company's leadership team still has yet to decide the ultimate fate of CNN Plus. CNN's new boss, Chris Licht, will start May 1st. CNN executives, with the help from consulting firm McKinsey, originally expected to bring in around 2 million subscribers in the US in the service's first year and 15 to 18 million after 4 years. Wow, that is very optimistic. They originally planned for the service to break even after 4 years. Much of the subscriber opportunity executives see comes from international markets. That actually makes sense, because I think that CNN has some international versions, basically everywhere, in every country. So it makes a lot of sense that they would expect to get people from elsewhere, because they're certainly not going to get it from the United States. Sources say those subscriber expectations will need to be dramatically reduced if investment is cut. I know a lot of people from Europe and Russia and basically all over the world, and they don't really like subscription services. They will pirate movies and stuff like that. They will steal movies off the internet and watch them that way, as opposed to actually buying into a subscription service. They might have Netflix or something, but for the most part, my friends overseas essentially just steal content from America. So the idea that you're going to get a lot of people from the international markets, I think that just shows a complete misunderstanding of world markets, just people from other countries. I think it just shows a complete misapprehension of how people think outside the United States. You know what I think? I think this is the absolute worst time for CNN to be investing in new ventures. Keep in mind that CNN is by far the lowest rated cable news network, even by Democrats. Tucker Carlson's show is the most watched cable news show among Democrats. First of all, how is that even possible? But if Tucker Carlson's show is the most watched cable news show among Democrats, how absolutely abysmal are these other networks that they can't make a show for Democrats that gets more Democrats to watch it than a show made for Republicans? That's insane. And I think there's a couple reasons for this low viewership. For one thing, they've lost all credibility. Years back, these networks started getting beat by Fox. So they switched to what they thought was the Fox model. They considered Fox to be partisan, and Fox was winning, so they thought we should go partisan. But what they didn't realize is that they were already very left-wing, and they thought they were in the middle and that Fox was on the right. But actually, Fox was in the middle and they were on the left. And so by going more left, they went kind of crazy left. Fox, however, just stayed right there in the middle. What CNN thought was the conservative perspective was actually just reporting reality without the leftist spin. So now everybody who wants reliable reporting has to go to Fox. But beyond the credibility problem, there's also the Trump factor. And to be clear, Trump did not need to be a key factor in CNN viewership. CNN chose to make Trump a key factor. They did this to themselves. When Trump ran for office, CNN quickly discovered that criticizing him was good for ratings. Then, after he was elected, they went all in. CNN became all Trump all the time, and that was a really bad idea. They desperately tried to sabotage this guy every hour of every day. They were trying to push him out of office, and their fans loved to watch this. They loved the hate. They loved the criticism. They loved the blatant slander. But then, when they got what they wanted, when Trump was out of office, the all Trump all the time network had no Trump. This has, of course, been a disaster for the company. CNN CNN finally wised up and got rid of Jeff Zucker using the absurd excuse that he dated an employee. So what is their plan now? Well, late last year, there was a rumor that CNN was going to start doing real news again, 100% real news. That was what most reports stated. These reports indicated that many major CNN employees would be fired, including on-air talent. And there was a time frame, early 2022. Well, early 2022 is coming to a close, and none of that has happened. I mean, none of it. This is, of course, truly disappointing. I was genuinely hoping to see a reformed CNN, a straight news network that I could rely on, not for leftist spin, but just for the facts. Sadly, I don't think that's ever going to happen. Fortunately, we do have a cable news network that already does that, Fox Business. But you know, it really is a shame. CNN could have been great again, but David Zaslav just couldn't follow through on his promise to reform the once great network. And so I really do think that CNN's time is up. Between the new expenses of CNN Plus, their ever-dwindling viewership, their loss of their airport contract, and their absolute refusal to course correct, I suspect that CNN will soon die. Why don't you guys let me know what you think in the comment section below? Well, that's it for me. And remember, it's not that our liberal friends are ignorant. It's just they know so much that is not so. Good night.
President, in talking about the continuing recession tonight, you have blamed mistakes of the past. You blamed the Congress. Does any of the blame belong to you?
Yes, because for many years I was a Democrat.
But does any of
We're at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars.